Welcome ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sunesha and we are creating a map for City Skylines. We're still working on this creek or stream, river or whatever we're gonna call it, and one of our problem areas is now that the separator mountain is not in the correct place, or it doesn't help our cause here because we want to create a stronger water flow out here, so it will get the water out of here. It would help also if I leveled this area out. As you can see, the water flow is going that way, and we have a deeper area here, and of course the water works the same way underwater, so it will help to make that thing. But let's first fix this. So what I have tried to do here is to create more or less the same shape here, so we can get a good middle here. So what I just need to do now is to expand this one in the middle here, like this. It should be fairly even. Aesthetically, there is much to ask about it, but I can work on that later. But this has now divided the stream into two streams, which I believe will create a more even power. Here. We could. So let's see. It seems like it's splitting its well there. Could add some rocks there maybe. But yes, if we put down props like rocks and stuff, it will affect your water flow. So yeah, I'm just waiting for it to settle a bit. It seems like we have a more even dividing here. We can see the arrows is actually growing here, but they're both going more or less in the same direction. So I think we do, as you can see, we'll create a funnel shape here. If we fill this out a bit more, let's take that shape. Oh, that was a little bit too... like that. So it will use some of its power if we... And now it will help a bit, I think. Let's see, look at those arrows. It helps a bit, but yes, there is a lot to ask about. But yeah, it would help a lot if the water was allowed. We could cheat a bit. We could cheat a bit by adding a water feature here. If we can make room for the smallest one here, it will create some more water flow, and it will kind of look natural, I think. And will create even more water here. So it looks like there is, it's just a trick, but it will create more. So where do I have water? That's above sea level, so it will create a bigger water flow here. As you can see, it helps a lot. As you can see, one of the arrows, we are creating smaller arrows, so it's taking the water out to sea here, and then it will. Then all the water will go that way. Maybe not, maybe not. It takes quite a while before we can see the changes, but I think that it should be working. I can see some symmetric. It has less power here because that is the shortest wave. So if I move that just a little bit, and grab that. Of course, I have to do the aesthetic changes later here, but yes, this is the grunt work here. Oh, okay. It also depends how close I put this one here. So let's see. Let's put it like this. And in the middle. Yeah, so you can add a lot more water feed. That way you don't have to work so much, but it also increases water flowage and it kind of looks natural over here. It helps a bit. We got a big arrow there. It doesn't seem to be working there. The big arrow is there. As you can see, the shape is different there. If I make this a little bit less, you can see the water is going not in as such a steep angle. There is almost 45 degrees. So if I grab that value and just make it a little bit triangle shaped, it should do the difference, I think. Almost. How it's working out here? It looks like we got quite a powerful stream out here, as we have changed those arrows here, the middle of it, so we're taking it out to sea. And still it seems to keep going in this direction. That's a promising result, because that is what you kind of want. You want the sewage to go out. Otherwise it will just pull around here if you use the sewage there. So I'm thinking I would prefer to have this thing. I'm trying to diagnose what to get the results I want, and I think we don't have equal water flow on both sides of this. Why is that? It's more or less the same shape. Is there a difference in height that can make a difference too? Is the water placed? Let's try to place it a little bit more like. Will this help if I place it inside here? Or, it was a save there. That increased even the out a bit. If I place it over there a bit, yeah, closer to where the waterfall is going down. I think I think it's an acceptable result. It can also depends on, because some of the water, as you can see here, will go. I can see that it's a little bit rounded there. I think it's a little bit funnel shape here. So if I round the corner a bit here, funnel it, make it a little bit more funnel shape. Will it help? I can see visually that the water is going in that direction. And yeah, I think it's some of the water is traveling from that and is affecting the water outlets here. So I don't think I can do a lot about that. However, we could start touching this up a bit here for our aesthetic purposely. So let's see here. Let's see, look at our where do I think it needs some improving to look better. I don't like this craggy sharp here. I think we want to smoothen this out so it gets a nice slope. It also means if it overflows a bit, it will become wider, but not just spilling over the edge there. So if I smooth this area out a bit, it should look a little bit better. So let's start by that. And as you can see, around the orange, we have the red shape there and the orange ring there. It will affect a bit here, so you have to be careful so we don't get too close to the edge there. Otherwise, it will affect the shape of the river here. So yes, so we have to be a little bit farther away because that's smoothed area. It's actually, even that I'm close, you can see that I'm affecting the edge. So you have to stay, I have to stay away from that edge. Okay. So let's see. So this is kind of painstakingly. Let me do that a bit. So I've smoothed the edges here a bit now, so I think I want to go with a bigger brush here. I'm just gonna look at the pattern here that I can see that I can pull the river shoreline a bit here. On some spots here I can see it's not completely smooth, and then I want to go with a bigger brush so I can affect a large area. Let's go with the double size what I've used, and I will pull it a bit more so we get a smoother edge. Okay, you have to be careful here. You remember I touched this up and added here, so if I remove too much here it will overflow. So yes, I think this part here we could smooth a little bit more aggressively, because here will be the bridge which will lead into our city. So yes, I want a small height difference there, and so yes, let's keep it like that. Let's pull. I want to keep that. So now we'll smooth the shoreline out a bit. It's okay that it is craggy at some parts, but now it's a little bit more smoother. You can see here it's very close to the river, so it goes there, so that looks nice. We could work more on the river, some areas here. I think I want to still fill this in here a bit more. So let's see, let's go with a smaller brush. I will not use smooth tool, I will use level tool. Just to fill this out a bit more. It's always hard to work when it gets squarey like this, but yes, we don't have a resolution for more of it here. We could touch it up a bit more like this. It's hard to get those shapes right because we are digging at such a small resolution. We can see the resolution is actually about this exactly. So this is the smallest one. So every corner of this is kind of smooth rectangles, which has height difference. That's why you can see one there, and one there. So yeah, this is the best we can do. It just looks awful. We could smooth it a bit. Let's try with the. That's a little bit too much. I think we're going to. I think I will go with the smallest brush and try to smooth it a little bit, just to get a little bit more less jagged area. It will look a little bit better there. I can see it's over there, and then we have a very squarey area here. So let's see. Looks a little bit squarey on the left side here, so yes, I have to try to smooth that out as much as possible. It will make the river a little bit wider, but it will not look so squarey, which kind of defeats the purpose. I think that should work a lot better, yes. Look, get some overflow there. Could level that a bit out a bit here. So use the back and forth here, trying to not make the resolution of it to look. Okay, let's see. As you can see, it wants to go to a square there. I can smooth it a little bit. If I pick the medium value here, I can smooth it a bit generally. Okay, I think I'd have to do. It's a little bit thick there. I don't like that. Let's get rid of that. Square area there. So what's the problem? Yes, it's super steep there, which makes the it shows a lot more, so let's grab that. Okay, cool. I think that will mask most of it. And now we can see how close it is to is actually overflowing there. So if I grab a value there, let's try to get the shape. So I have to kind of push it on the bends so it doesn't look so unnatural. Another bend there, so let's push that round shape there so it shapes out better. Need a little bit more height, so let's grab it there. So it's kind of good. All of these topographic lines is kind of just pushing them into shapes that looks okay. Oh no, it is overflowing there too. And sometimes create new problems, trying to fix other old problems, just like in real life. I don't want that. So the big problem with creating these narrow rivers is when you create them very narrow, it creates resolution problems. As you can see, these square shapes makes things more difficult for you. So yes, so it could one remedy is actually to make the river a lot wider, because then you have more margin of error to fix things here, especially when I am not completely going straight like this curve here. You can see that resolution doesn't have enough resolution to resolve a curve, but as you can see here, it looks kind of okay here, where I've just made a small bend, but it affects here. But I think we can do it like this. It doesn't really help that I smooth the sides of it too, as soon as I change on something, it will overflow. So yeah, one way is to make it kind of deeper and have a very visible edge to your river. It will make it easier, but I kind of like when the river is sloped like here. I got this nice slope going here, but I think I have to work a little bit more on that. As you can see, what I just told you guys, look where I left the edge. It was a lot easier to get this here. I think I will add some edge here. I'm just trying to fold the topography of the landscape we already have here. Let's create a natural high ridge here, just because it will look better. So let's to fix two problems. It looks nicer too, I think. So by adding some ridges here, it will make it a lot easier here. So if I add it here, we have a hill here anyway, so I will add some height to that hill. Just the units more, just to create. I could smooth a bit, let's see. The smallest brush. It's just a never-ending touch-up to get it to look very nice. Make it wider here, but it will make the river look a little bit smoother. Yes, I will make it wider. This barrel looks a little bit wider than it looks too squarey. I think that is the compromise we have to do. So it looks a little bit wider here, but it looks better than it was squarey. So yeah, it was a compromise. I think we can, if we use some trees here, I think we can. Let's just do this first. Let's copy these trees. It will hide from the. It will distract us from it being a little bit too wide here. But so yes, with help of tree, it will work. So cool. So that was everything for this episode, and as always, thank you for watching.